speaker is Emily Schmidt, valedictorian of the class of 2016. Emily is the daughter of Kent and Lori Schmidt and plans on attending Warburg College for music education.
You guys hear me okay? Yeah. Good? Okay. Fellow classmates, teachers, staff, and friends and family, it is an honor to stand before you as the 2016 class valedictorian. As I stand before you now, my very last day as an Emmitsburg EHOC, I can recall my very first ones. I know that I've only been enrolled at Emmitsburg High School for 3 years, but if you all don't mind, I'd like to share my slightly crazy but ultimately life-changing experience I have had while living in this tiny little town so many of us call home. I was nearly 15 years old and was living out my last few weeks as a high school freshman in sunny Fairfield, California. When I first heard the news that we were moving all the way across the country back to the Midwest, it was a bit shocking to say the least. I believe the first words out of my mouth were, "You're kidding, right?" After living in 4 states and multiple cities throughout my life, I never in a million years thought that we would be returning to Iowa. But the transition back to small-town living, although very evident in my case, wasn't nearly as difficult as one would think. I remember after the 4-day move, being exhausted and jet-lagged from riding almost non-stop in a car through the summer heat. In fact, I was so tired and it was so hot in early July that I began to see visions of California while riding through the state of Iowa. I looked out my window and saw what looked like one of the rides at the Six Flags amusement park I used to go with my friends to. I looked outside excitedly and told my mother how much fun it would be to go there once we were settled. My mother looked at me through the rearview mirror with a deep concern in her eyes and said, "Emily, that's a silo." But as we finally pulled into our driveway and began packing our things, I breathed my first sigh of relief. Old neighbors and friends that we hadn't seen in almost a decade soon began to come over and help us unpack our things, and some even gave us free food, which I was especially grateful for. The thought of starting over at not only a new school was scary enough, but starting over at a new high school where I thought everyone would already have their friend groups and cliques was a whole nother level of anxiety and uncertainty. But those feelings soon vanished upon my first steps into the Emmitsburg High School vocal room. I heard of this amazing show choir that lied within our small town, and even though I had no clue what exactly I was getting myself into, I knew I had to be a part of it, especially after seeing Hannah Bird get completely flipped upside down on one of their YouTube videos. I walked into the vocal room, and bam, you could literally see the dedication. Between the plaques, the ribbons, the trophies, the giant success motivational banner, and even some leftover glitter on the floor, it was all there. I can still picture Mr. Fogg walking in from practice with a black and gold cap on that read EHOC football in giant letters. He had me sing a few scales, and then looked intently at me, paused for a brief moment, and said, "Oh yeah." I knew from that moment on that that room would become my home away from home. Some of the greatest friendships I have now were made in that very place over the past 3 years. I want to take a moment to thank all of the music directors and all of you choir nerds for giving me perhaps the greatest experiences of my high school career and for never failing to make me smile even when I was at my worst. I know I'm not the only one who has made a second home and life-lasting friendships out of our school. You can see it everywhere. In our student section that's always tuning louder than any other, and our impeccable sports and speech programs, or in every 15 minutes when you learn just how valuable those relationships really are. I know that no other school would compare to Emmitsburg's. And to our town, and especially those of us here right now, I thank you and appreciate each and every one of you for opening my mind to the power and impact that family and community can have on any individual. And also for showing me that sometimes there's more to life than being in a 20-mile radius of a 2-story Forever 21. I hope that each of you holds on to the precious memories and invaluable relationships made here over the past 4 years. Lastly, I'd like to end my speech with a quote from one of my all-time favorite movies, Legally Blonde. "It is with passion, courage of conviction, and strong sense of self that we take our next steps into the world, remembering that first impressions are not always correct. You must always have faith in people, and most importantly, you must always have faith in yourself. Congratulations, class of 2016.